Last week, we began the series on maximizing the near-life opportunity. And the first thing we talked about was the component of belief. And we talked about the fact that belief lifts your ability to do the business. In fact, I came across an interesting story I just want to share with you before we get into our session for today. So this was about a professor who stood before a class of 30 senior students. Now, these students were doing something in medicine called molecular biology. Apparently, that's quite a hard paper. So before he passed out the final exam, and this was the exam that would determine whether they make it to the next level or not. So he told them, I've been privileged to be your instructor this semester. And I know how hard you have worked to prepare for this test. I also know most of you are off to medical school or to graduation school next year. I'm well aware of how much pressure you are under to keep your GPAs up. So your GPA is like your performance. And I'm confident that you know this material. So he said, I'm prepared to offer an automatic B to anyone who opts to skip taking the final exam. So in other words, he tells them, if you don't take the final exam, you will just get a B because I know how hard you have worked. So the relief was audible. A number of students jumped up from their desks, thanked the professor for the lifeline he had given them, and they walked out. So he asked again, any takers? In other words, are there others that would like to take the offer? You just walk out, you'll get a B. You don't have to take the test. And he said, this is your last opportunity. One more student got up and left. Then there was a few that were left, and the instructor said, the instructor handed out the final exam, which consisted of 2 sentences. Okay? And the sentences read, congratulations. You have just received an A in this class. Keep believing in yourself. It was just a reward for the students who had worked hard and believed in themselves. So there were those who believed that I can get an A. I'm not going to settle for a B. I can still get an A if I can take this test. And little did they know that they would get a reward of an A for having believed in themselves. So it was just a simple way of saying, how much do you believe in yourself? So today, we are going to pick it up from there. And let me just share my screen. Okay. Let me do this again. In that really. So today we are going to be looking at the fact that passion energizes your ability to maximize the near-life opportunity. So passion energizes. So we say belief lifts your ability, but passion energizes. And when we talk about passion, we mean a strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement for something or about doing something. So it is the excitement, it is the enthusiasm that you have about something. Passion is the energy. If you sometimes say that person has high energy, that simply means they have passion. High energy person, that person has passion. So passion is about the feeling of enthusiasm or excitement. And this is very critical when it comes to building anything, building this business in particular. Passion is a very strong thing. Now I want to ask a question and type for me in the chat. Okay? A passionate person with limited knowledge versus a passive person with great knowledge. Who do you think would do better? Type for me in the chat. So someone is passionate, but they have little knowledge. Another one is passive, but they have great knowledge. Type for me in the chat. Who do you think will do better in our business? Any comments? Okay. Let me see. Let me stop share here and I see what we are saying. Okay. Passion person with limited knowledge. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Morningstar. Jonathan says one with passion. Morningstar says, okay, passionate person. Absolutely. I remember one time we went for one of those vacations and wild team vacation. And then they called the panel. Okay, so the panel was, it was like a Q&A. They were asking questions. So they said, if we ask you a question and you cannot answer, feel free to ask someone in the audience. Okay. So this particular person on the panel that day was a 2-diamond director from West Africa. So they asked a question. What is GRR2 in full? That was the question. What is GRR2 in full? 2-diamond director. The 2-diamond director looked and said, that one, I refer to my upline. I think he called, I don't remember who he called, someone in the audience and said, you answer that question. I don't know, Gerard, what is it? And of course, the audience was amused that, 2-diamond director does not know Gerard too. But while I sat back in the audience, I looked, I said, wait, this guy may not know what GRR2 is in full. But you know something? The 2-diamond director. So it just made me realize that, yes, and we are not saying you should not have knowledge. Please have the product knowledge. It is critical, it is essential. But this is an example of someone who may not know as much, and yet they are doing so much with the little that they know. And that's why he is a 2-diamond director. So in a way, it challenges us to maximize what we have, to turn our knowledge into, into action. So belief, it just came from the whole concept of belief, of passion, taking action. So yes, a passionate person with limited knowledge versus a passive person, someone who is not so passionate, but has great, knowledge. At the end of the day, the one who is more passionate will take that day. So I want you to watch this short video and tell me what you think. Okay, so over to you.
Brother, right there. Yeah. What's your name, bro?
Daryl.
I'm gonna need you to slow down with all that, bro. For real, you're scaring the white people. You can't do that, Daryl.
I'm sorry, bro.
You're scaring me too, though. Wow. Well, what do you do for a living, Daryl?
I work at Oak Ridge Military Academy. I'm the music director there.
Musical director at Oak Ridge Musical Academy. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But you got a deep voice, man. I would not want to get you mad. Jonathan, come here. You're like, oh, snap. 9 Jonathans show up. It's amazing, dude. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Let me hear. We didn't plan this, just so y'all know. We didn't plan this at all. I'm just randomly talking. Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, once you give me the version, is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Oh,
see. Let's go. Now. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Goodness gracious.
Okay, so what do you think made the difference? So maybe to bring a bit of context into what we are talking about, this is someone who is a singer. So he's asked to do, a common song, Amazing Grace. So he sings the first time. And then the second time he is told, now I want you to sing the same song as if your uncle got out of jail. Now, he is singing it like he would sing it if he had a transformational experience. And that informs why he sang it the way he did the second time. Now, how does this relate to our business? Or maybe first put for me in the chat. Any realization that you find from this short video? Tell me. Any comment in the chat? Just comment something about what you've just observed. Okay, let me see what we are saying. No reason versus a very clear and strong reason. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. It was the passion he had. Okay. The passion he had, the confidence and time. All right. Okay. Second part, he was a bit emotional. All right. Thank you. He sang with passion the second time. All right. Thank you. That's really the point. And here the point is, sometimes we are talking about products. We are talking about our dreams. We are talking about the opportunity, but it's like there's no emotion in it. We are like dry wood. You're just talking. And again, you remember when we went for the Impact Summit. I mean, you remember how Oceana was speaking. Like they are going to get sticks and they just spank all of us, You remember how Husna spoke when she was announced as #1. That level of energy. I mean, that energy is contagious. You can't miss that energy. You can't miss that energy. And I'm not saying everyone should just go and speak like that. No, even in your humble demeanor, you can speak with enthusiasm and passion. It comes out very clearly. In fact, in communication, effective communication is not about what you say. Effective communication is about how you say it. So it's not always about the what. It is more about the how. It's very critical that we pay attention not only to the words, but how we say them. I mean, the guy sang the same song, but you could see that the second one, people even stood up and clapped. Yet he had sung the same song at first. The difference, the reason, emotion, and the passion. So how passionate are you about your dream? I mean, when you share your dream, I mean, really, people feel, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the passion. Do they feel it? When you talk about the products, how do people feel? Do you just talk about them the way he sang the first song? Or you talk about them the way he talked about the second one? When you talk about the opportunity, can people feel your energy? Can people feel your enthusiasm? Can people feel your excitement? I remember the time we went to leadership school, we were there with some Tanzanians, and we had a mini contest, speech contest. So the person who was coordinating this was the CEO of Neolife. At that time, he was a South African working in America. So obviously he didn't know Swahili, okay? So this lady from Tanzania comes and says, I may not participate in this. He said, why? He said, because I cannot speak English. Then he said, no, it's okay. You go ahead and go ahead and participate. And the whole activity was to share our stories in less than 2 minutes. Okay, so the Ugandans came and spoke. They told their stories. The Kenyans came and told their stories. Then this lady from Tanzania came. She couldn't speak English. She started, mimi naitwa Jesse Ainebyoona. And then she went on and she began to tell her story, how this business found her. And, as she was speaking, she was smiling on the face. Her body was moving, her hands, you could tell that she was in that story. After 2 minutes, she sat down. Then the CEO came to hand out the awards and he said, all of you were good. But in my opinion, the person who really stood out, that lady from Tanzania. And everyone is thinking, what do you mean? You didn't even understand anything she said. Then he said, I did not understand anything she said, but I could tell that the way she said whatever she was saying was coming from her heart and it was making a lot of sense. Wow. The lady took the gift, not because the person understood what she said, but because the person was impacted by the way she spoke. So how passionate are you when you talk about your dream, when you share the opportunity, and when you talk about the passion, love what you do. And by the way, when you don't, it shows. When you don't love what you do, it shows. You can talk about the healthy food pyramid. You can talk about the cleaning products. You can talk about the circles and how you become a manager. But let me tell you something. You could have the right content, but if you're not passionate about it, someone watching you, it will show. Not hide it. A burning desire, according to Napoleon Hill, is the first step to achievement. And it comes out through passion. And then I just picked up this from, so in the Bible, in the book of Revelations, they were writing letters to these churches. And to one particular church, they said, remember your first love. In other words, they were so passionate at first, and then after some time, they grew cold. And for them, their challenge was, remember your first love. So grow your passion again. Grow your passion again. So get back to the drawing board and rekindle that passion. Just want to close this segment by saying this statement from this gentleman that says, man is so mad that when anything fires his soul, impossibilities. Think about that. That when you're fired up, man, you don't recognize anything called impossibility. You just go. You just go. So how passionate are you about what you are doing? All right, we'll go to number 3, and this will be the final one for today. The number 3 component, so remember where we're coming from. Number 1 is belief. Number 2 is passion. Number 3 is initiative. Now, sorry, that was a typo. Initiative. Okay, initiative activates our ability to maximize the near-life opportunity. Initiative. And when we talk about initiative, we simply mean the power or opportunity to act or take charge. Initiative comes from the word initiate. Initiate. So to initiate means to take charge, to take action, start something, to start something. That is what it means to take initiative. During the Impact Summit, Zubeda mentioned a statement that I captured that made a lot of sense. And she said, if you work, everything works. As if you work. If you work, everything works. So in other words, remember we're talking about maximizing the opportunity of Neolife. So we could all be in the same business, same company, same product, same everything. But at the end of the day, we walk away with different rewards because of the level of input we have made. If you work, everything works. You could be in this opportunity and you are not making much. Why? Because the amount of work is low or no. If you work, everything works. If you work, everything works. A lot of sense. Now, watch this as John Maxwell talks about the power of action. Okay, check it out.
An everyday essential for your personal growth is application. You see, no matter how much you learn, reflect, write, or share, nothing happens without action. I'm always amazed at people who say, well, I just think my way to success. No. You may think a lot about success, but you don't get successful thinking your way to success. You get successful taking what you thought and applying it. There is no success without action. My father used to give me the, 5 frogs on a log story when I was a kid, 5 frogs on a log. 3 decided to jump off. How many are left? I'd say 2. Dad said, no, 5. 5? Thought you said 3 decided to jump off. He said, just because you decide to jump off doesn't mean you jumped. He was teaching me that nothing happens until you jump. Nothing happens until you take action. And the moment that you take action, you begin to have attraction. You begin to attract people, places, things, opportunities, resources that will not happen when you stand still. When you move, they move. When you stop, they stop. That's why application is an everyday essential for personal growth.
Right. So application, and I like what you said there, that when you act, you act. Think about it. When you act, you attract. Opportunity does not find you seated at home. No. It's when you're on the move that you begin to see opportunities coming. It's like a bicycle. If you just put up a bicycle and make it stand on its two wheels, it won't balance. But when you get on it and start riding it, it balances when it is in motion. In the same way, it's when you post on your status, for example, that someone will see what you're doing and say, hey, wait, I've been looking for something like that. Do you have it right now? Yes. When can we meet? You see, the opportunity has come because you took some level of initiative. So if you don't open your mouth and say something to someone, how will they know? So remember the 4 daily success habits. Using the products, we take initiative on using the products. We take initiative to share our product experience. We take initiative to share the opportunity. Take initiative to grow personally. But even as we do these basics, remember what Kendra Brasfield said, and I just captured 1 minute of it, and then we conclude this part. Okay.
And what I've observed about our most successful leaders in Neolife around the world is that burning desire, it quickly grows into a desire to help others to achieve something bigger. Success maybe even bigger than they currently have and bigger than they themselves have had. And then they take massive action. I was just in Budapest for the European Impact Summit, and I was there with my father, and I love what he said from stage, and I want to share it with you. He said, do you know what the single most overrated thing in this business is? The most overrated thing in this business is training. And then he said, do you know what the most underrated thing in this business is? It's talking to people. He said, yes, this business is hard and it's darn near impossible if we don't talk to people and build relationships. That's just the foundation of what we do. And I want to say today, what happens when you expose the business to more people and tell your story, it's just amazing. You might have a small business today, but if you keep doing it, if you keep sharing and building relationships, sharing your vision, growing your vision, if you keep setting goals and believing you can do it, then as you grow, you're going to raise yourself to new heights you never dreamed possible because you just don't know.
Right. So that is initiative for you. And the reason I picked that up is because, I mean, it's easy to go for training. Easy. I mean, you just walk or you just log in. I mean, you just go for training. It's harder to talk to someone. So it's easy for you to just settle for habit number 4 of growing personally because it's easy. But let's remember that what puts money in our pockets is sharing Neolife. It's sharing the product, sharing the opportunity. How many people can you talk to? How many people are you talking to with your team? You know, at the end of the day, that is the bottom line. That is the gist of the matter. Initiative opens the door for opportunity and it closes the door to fear. It opens the door to opportunity because it's when you take initiative that opportunities begin to come. And in fact, when you begin to talk to people, when you begin to take action, guess what? The fear begins to go down because you are confronting the thing that you fear the most. That's why initiative is critical. That once we are in this business, as we get into the year 2024, the question to be asking ourselves is, how can I take more initiative with my team? If I have a team of 5 people and all of us are talking to 2 people per day, the multiplier effect is that we are all talking to 10 people a day. 10 people a day, 5 times a week is 50 people a week. 50 people per week, 4 weeks a month is 200 people a month. There is a high chance that that business will grow. That is why even Kendra said, no matter how small your business is now, if you just keep on talking to people and sharing the opportunity, telling your story, you can grow a big business. Because all those big businesses began small. But they would never have grown big if those people did not take the initiative. So take initiative. Now, people who lack initiative, what do? They wait to be told what to do. Okay? They want someone to first motivate them. So they won't do it until they feel like doing it, or they are in the mood. You know, they look for the perfect time to act. Yeah, the timing is not right. Timing is not right. They look for the perfect time to act. Initiative. I remember when I traveled to Dar es Salaam for the Impact Summit, there was someone, when we were in the immigration line at the Entebbe, he pulled out, what is this thing they use for asthma? I forget it, but that one. You know, so he pulled out something in his bag, and he, like, inhaler. Yeah, I think it's an inhaler. So I wanted to talk to him, but then he was there with his wife, and thought like, these guys, what will they think? Do they think I'm just marketing? So I said, since we're on the same flight, I will find a place to talk to him while we are waiting to board. So I never talked to him in that line. Guess what? I reached the place inside the airport. I look around and I can't see him. Wow. I'm like, Jesse, that opportunity has gone. So I was on the plane, and all through the journey, I was thinking about him, and I said, God, is there a chance that I'll see this guy again? Because I think I have something that might help him. So the plane landed and we got out of the aircraft. Now, it so happened that when we reached Kigali, there is a place where you go when you have arrived in Kigali, but there's also a place you go when you're connected to another flight. So by mistake, I went to the place for people who have arrived in Kigali. And the first person I saw was him. I said, this time, God, I am not missing it. I just walked to him and I said, excuse me, my name is Jesse. We met in Entebbe, and I noticed you had an inhaler. I told him, I know someone who used to have a challenge with asthma. And if you don't mind, if I take your number, when we finally get back to Kampala, I can get in touch. And you should have seen him and his wife. They said, oh, thank you so much. That would be so helpful. Oh, he immediately gave me the number, and I went. And I said, my God, if I had not captured this moment, it would have gone. You know, so this business of looking for the perfect time to act, there is no perfect time to act. There are some people, if you don't talk to them there and then, you will not meet them again. So talk to them. They like tomorrow better than today. This business of saying, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. Nope. Those are people who lack initiative. They have reasons why they are not taking action. You see, now I can't talk to people because those are people who lack initiative. To become a person of initiative, number one, take responsibility. Remember that this is your business. This is your life. Like, don't wait to be told to do what you know you should do. Take charge. Secondly, examine your reasons for not taking action. Ask yourself, why am I not talking to people? Could it be that I fear rejection? Could it be that it's because I don't have the people, therefore I need to build a name list? Could it be that maybe I don't believe enough in what I'm telling them? Maybe I don't have a product experience, and that's why I'm not talking to them. You know, it's important that you unpack why you're not taking the action. Because when you arrive at the actual reason, then we can get it out of the way. Ask yourself, why am I not taking the action I need to take? And then challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to say, every day, at least a name in my name list. Every day, at least I will meet you. Every day, challenge yourself. Put a challenge on yourself. Then allocate times to tasks to avoid procrastination. Sometimes we keep saying, I will do this. I will do this. But you see, it's what gets scheduled that gets done. If something does not appear on your schedule for that day, most likely it won't get done. I mean, the reason we have this personal growth session every week is because it's on schedule. If it was to be left to her, now this week am I in the mood? There are days I'm not in the mood, but because it's on schedule, we have to do it. So allocate time to avoid procrastination. And I just want to close with this statement that ideas are worthless. Intentions have no power. Plans are nothing unless they are followed with action. So do it now. So this business of saying, you wait, next year, you wait. Next year, you will see. Just do and tell us what. So you notice, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Anyone can talk. At the end of the day, ideas are worthless. Intentions have no power. Plans are nothing. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have ideas, you don't have intentions, you don't have plans. But the bottom line of the statement is unless they are followed with action. So do it. Do it now. The key word there is do. You could do the ideas, the intentions, and the planning. That's good. And it's good for us to plan. And we're even going to have a retreat to plan. We're even going into the season. We are going to plan for next year. Very good. But if we stop at planning and we don't take action, it is all in vain. So ideas are good, but they are worthless. Intentions are powerful, but they have no power. Plans are great, but they are nothing unless they are followed with action. For us on this call, the challenge is for things to change, we have to change. Let us be passionate and let us take initiative, because that's when we shall get the results we are getting. I want you to imagine. Oceana sponsored 60 people last year, over 60 people. In fact, the year has not yet even ended. Hello, between January and August, 60 people. Can you imagine how much action to do? Just think about it for a moment. Think about the amount of effort it takes to sponsor one person. Now, you multiply that by 6. Can you imagine how much effort went into that? So that is why we're saying everything is good, but until you back it up with action, you won't see the result. Hope after this call, we shall be people that are result-oriented and action-focused. That brings us to the end of our session for today. Look out for next week as we talk about